it's completely open to interpretation. It's like, well, you only told me to think of a dog, and I did. Yeah, actually, you used to do that on Shooting Stars, didn't they? One of the questions, like, think of a dog, Yorkshire Terrier. Nope, sorry, it was a Dachshund.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, it's John Lamberton here alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We are here for another episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without just working harder. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Christmas special 2020 for the ALB podcast. We're here once again. This has now become like an annual tradition, hasn't it, Jace?
It has. Like, Christmas comes every year, so do we. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we did our little summer special back in the summer, which I guess is a bit of a traditional way of doing it. And the feedback we had was just like, oh, I've really missed this. You guys just having a chat, having some banter, putting the world to rights. And I did kind of say at the time, we're not going back to that like all the time, but look out for the Christmas special. So here we are. And you've got, for those listening in podcast land, you've got a very festive shirt on. There's a virtual background.
Rudolph the Reindeer's Christmas tree. Yeah, we're all looking good. You know, it's 2020 has been the year of backgrounds, hasn't it? Or at least it has been for me. And I'd like to turn up somewhere different. Yeah. Most calls.
Is there anything? Is there anything more 2020 about this Christmas special than the fact that you've got a virtual background and we're not in the same room?
Yeah, I don't think we'd ever. Normally, when we do this, I'm in the same room as you, obviously, but yeah, it's not very festive, is it, during the Christmas special? So at least I can do.
We normally got a little bit of pies on the go.
A little bit of Christmas cheer this year.
You're on your 7th bit of eggnog by then.
Yeah, those were the days.
Anyway, let's, as always, with our Christmas special, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to look back over 2020. I don't know if there's anything to talk about this year. I don't think there's been any major talking points, so we'll just skip over 2020. Not a lot happened. And look forward to 2021. We get to find out what book Jason has read this year. Sorry, which book Jason has nominated as his book of the year this year. And find out what we can all do.
That's very rude.
I make the same joke every year. Come on, you should be used to this.
Pretty much. I should read more than one, and then I won't have to worry about it.
Cool. So, what have we learnt this year, then, mate? What's happened in 2020 that we could all learn from?
Yeah, 2020 has been a crazy old year, really. It started off with so much promise in kind of January, and it was looking quite good. We've got lots of plans in place, put lots of things together so that it could run really, really easily.
Is that what you've learned? Is it that we made lots of plans and they all went to hell?
The learning bit came after we made those plans. It's like all good things. You have a great plan and you know what's going to happen for the quarter and then for the year. And, you know, actually, this is the year we can just, I think we talked about it just now. It's a bit of plain sailing. It's kind of like, actually, this is the year of consolidation. We've got the foundations are in place for the fantastic business. All we need to do is kind of redeploy that. And this year should be a nice, easy year of plain sailing. I think that's the expression you use. And I thought, that last year was what we wanted to do. A nice bit of plain sailing.
It was, Don't keep reminding me that was what we said we wanted for out of 2020 a year ago. It's like, all we need is for there to just, a nice bit of plain sailing, not a lot to happen, just float along, have a nice, easy year where we just work the plan and reap the rewards. And thank you, 2020. I did see a post earlier today, actually, on social media. It says, if you think you're having a bad day, just look at the fact that not a single person in 2015 correctly answered the word, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah, I saw that post as well. I thought that's good. Yeah, do we take some people on then? It's like, what are the questions we ought to have asked, really? And it's like, no, I got rid of them when they were wrong.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Self-isolating at home. My big takeaway, I think, from 2020 has been, and we touched on this, I think, in the summer special with the kind of the 20 years. Was my big takeaway from that was shit happens, and hoping that it won't happen is not a good strategy. It will happen. You can't predict it, and you can't predict when it's going to happen. 2020 was just as likely to have been a boom year. when there's massive growth and massive spike, as it was to be a complete apocalypse. You don't know what's coming in the next year. So, we talked about it in the 20 years of business episode where, I started the business during the dot-com bubble. We had 9/11, we've had Google kickings, Facebook kickings, PayPal kickings, global financial crisis. We've lost six-figure revenue streams. We've lost key members of staff. We've kept other key members of staff who we wish we hadn't. And then that's before we've had a worldwide pandemic and the world gets shut down. But we're still here and we've adapted and we've evolved and we will continue to do that. And whilst we might hope for plain sailing and it would be nice to just catch our breath and, get on an even keel.
Where's the fun in that?
Yeah. If someone comes along and kicks us in the nuts in 2021, we'll deal with that. And as business owners, you all will. You will deal with what is thrown at you.
Yeah, I think what from my point of view, what we've done, we've had those kickings lots of times, but certainly within the 1% club, most business owners, whilst they've had the struggles of business, they've not had those apocalyptic kicks in the nuts, as you want to kind of call it, really, and actually not had to kind of deal with that. But what I've really found most interesting, and actually the learning to take it, apart from the fact, is to follow kind of our path of being quite agile, being adaptive. I know the word pivot's been used overly this year because everybody's kind of been having a go at this pivot, but I think being adaptive and being creative has been two kind of things which have been absolutely needed this year. And those businesses and those business people who have succeeded and done better from this experience, that is coronavirus, have been those that have been the most creative, have been the most adaptable, have been agile and been able to make those decisions quickly and move on them, have been willing to make those changes that have been needed. I think, again, lots of business owners tend to stay in the realms of comfort that they kind of made themselves, and actually when that rug was pulled out from under them, it's like, I'll cling on to that rug for as long as I possibly can. The government can bail me out, can give me some money, and I'll keep hold of that rug. But actually, it's about beating that rug, letting it go, and actually creating the new floor space that you're going to build that business up from. I think, as I say, we've been very lucky not lucky because that's the reason why the members of the 1% club, because they're already those kind of people, but actually the membership of the 1% club, generally speaking, have been those that have been able to be agile, adapt, been creative, pivoted if you'd like to do, but actually made that change to their business in order to continue and to be sustainable during this period, and then create that foundation for the future. I think that's absolutely brilliant. I think
it is, and I don't think we realised it at the time. I think when things first hit the fan back in March, we did the right thing, but I don't think we consciously knew that what we were doing is what we've done when 9/11 hit, when Google kicked us in the balls, when Facebook shut our account down, when PayPal shut our account down, when Google moved the goalpost, anything like that. We've actually always done the same thing. And when the shit hit the fan back in March, we did the same thing again, which was we kind of moaned and bitched and whined and had a little pity party for about a day or two. And we go, this isn't fair. And oh my God, this is all going to go to hell in a handcart. And that's it. 20 years, we've had a good run. Let's shut the doors. And then we went, okay, well, what can we do? Let's accept the world is how it is, because I think there's a lot of people who have spent the whole of 2020 wishing the world was different rather than accepting the way it is and adapting themselves to the world. Let's make a plan. Let's figure out how do we survive this. And I think we created kind of this like 3-step plan, wasn't it? It was like, look after your cash flow first. Obviously we didn't even know bounce back loans, CBILS, none of that was announced. It was just like, there will be help. Look after your cash flow, speak to your accountant, get your cash flow forecast sorted. Build your relationships, look after those relationships. People won't remember what you did, but they remember how you treated them during this time. There's a lot of people on shit lists now who will never get business again because of the way they treated suppliers, so-called partners in 2020. And the last one was building assets. And we made that little plan. That was what we were going to do in our business. And we shared that with the wider community in the 1% Club. And those guys did the same thing. They adapted it to their own business. They took our plan and they made it their own. But ultimately, everyone panicked. Everyone worried. Everyone thought the end was nigh. And then they hunkered down, made a plan, and worked the plan. They adapted, they evolved. And if you did that in any way in 2020, then you'll be fine. The next thing that gets thrown at you.
Definitely good for resilience, these little kicks in the nuts, aren't they?
They are. They build you up. The analogy I'm using now, and I think I wrote an email about this the other day. Do you remember the episode of The Simpsons where Homer discovers this amazing trait he has to be able to be punched in the face and it not affect him, and he ends up getting a heavyweight champion of the world fight because he is able to be punched in the head and just keep taking the blows. And that's it. It's just, as a business owner, if you can keep taking the blows and keep on coming, as obviously I did in my boxing fight last year, then
you kept going for about 40 seconds, mate. It was brilliant.
It was 53 seconds, actually.
Yeah, you kept going for about 40 seconds.
Yeah.
The other 13 were you getting up off the floor. Sorry.
But yeah, it is that ability to just keep on coming and keep swinging and just stay in the game. That is a skill, and it is something that, as I said, we've done time and time again, but I've never been consciously aware that that's what we've done until this year. And the minute we figured that out, and this is where I think my big takeaway from 2020 is, I've got no fear over the next black swan event, the next kick in the balls, because I know that no matter what happens, unless it is literally it kills me, I'm going to get through it in some way. It may hurt me, it may derail me, it may set my 10-year goal back by 5 years, but I'm going to survive. I'm going to get through it. I'm going to be Homer, keeping on coming until Mo comes in on a big fan and lifts me out the area. If you've not seen that episode of The Simpsons, you'll have no relevance to that whatsoever. Which looking
I kind of remember there is a GIF that where he keeps getting punched in the face. So I kind of do know the kind of story behind it. But there you go. But yeah, no, that's very good. Thank you for sharing your fandom of The Simpsons.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime. Any other takeaways from this year?
I just love humanity, really, in terms of being creative and that kind of stuff. I think it's just that's really high. That's really deep, isn't it? Yeah, no, I think it's been really special. I think it's because it's affected everybody, and everybody's kind of coming into, has been touched by it in some way or another. It's just kind of brought everybody kind of, certainly the early doors of everyone together before the kind of the divisions kind of came back into play again. When everybody was bored with being nice to each other, it actually kind of just lifted humanity to kind of like, actually everyone's kind, everyone's nice. Yeah, we did the clapping and all of that sort of stuff, but actually it was just bringing people together, and I think that's something that's really celebrated until the divisions kind of came back in again. But yeah, there we are.
Yeah, things did get a little more divisive towards the end of the year, didn't they? I can't think of anything that might have caused that in any way. Oh dear. But the other thing I'm just thinking there is kind of, it's this proactive versus reactive thing, isn't it? A lot of the business owners we've kind of seen in passing, certainly not 1%ers, I would say, but certainly I've seen in passing, that they know a lot about the kind of the in-depths, they'll tell you all about the efficacy of masks. They'll tell you about what the projected R rate is, and they can project that forward over 3 months. And the latest number of confirmed cases in any country, anywhere in the world, is at the top of their touch of their fingers. But they can't tell you what their email open rate is, or the lifetime value of their customers, or the bounce rate on their website. They don't know anything about the numbers in their business, but they can tell you what Professor Chris Whitty has got to say today. It's this old controlling the controllables, because I can't do anything about the projected R rate and the efficacy of masks. What I can do is I can affect the open rate of our emails, the bounce rate on our website. I can affect that. And I think it really annoyed me in the first lockdown, because I saw, particularly on social media, a lot of business owners having a holiday. And that was all they did. Was they sat in the sunshine and looked at the COVID numbers, and they refreshed the BBC News feed to see what negativity they could get in their brains that day. And while they're doing that, I'm sat in this office looking out at the blue sky and sunshine, because we did have a nice heat wave. working, I'm creating those assets, I'm building those relationships, I'm looking after the cash flow. Now, from a business point of view, we've reaped the rewards of doing that, of following that plan. The other guys have not moved on this year. They've gone backwards in their business. They've got a nice tan to show for it, but it just really annoyed me because they, at no point did they think there's something I can do to affect my business. It's no, the government affect my business. Whatever legislation they put in place determines whether my business fails or survives. No, it doesn't. They're going to help or hinder you, I'm sure. But there's only one person who can actually control it, and that's you and the way you react to stuff.
Absolutely. Here.
That's the first of my little rants.
First soapbox. There we go. We've got plenty of these in store, so do keep listening.
Definitely. So should we talk book of the year?
Book of the year. Oh, yes. Book of the year.
Yes. So you must have read a lot of books this year.
Oh, I've read a few.
Again, I think having a heat wave during the first lockdown helped a bit with a lot of the reading, didn't it?
Well, no, I was far too busy building assets and stuff to be reading books, to be honest with you, John. I was, you kind of knock me every year. You kind of do this to me. You absorb all the knowledge and I implement it, and that's how we work. It's just how we roll. It's just the way that this thing is, isn't it? It's great. I mean, I've read 2 books, and I know you brought them up. I don't think you mentioned it now. So yeah, I've read 2 books this year. One that we kind of got the team to read. Which was something to do with keeping customers and stuff, which was very good.
Do you remember that?
And then another one about systems, which I enjoy because I'm a little bit of systems, don't we? So yeah, so that's the kind of probably 2. I know I've read other books, but I couldn't tell you what they are because my memory is rubbish.
Cool too. I reckon I'm close to 50 this year.
Brilliant.
In terms of books.
I'm going to get you one of those library awards for reading the books.
I used to get the little badges, tracker, wasn't it? Like a treasure trail.
Yeah, you had a little bookmark and you wrote it off and you had to do a little quiz at the end of each one. Yeah, it was very good. Yeah, I did that while I was at school.
I'd like my certificate. Send me a certificate, please.
Okay. You need to do the tests first, John.
No, don't do tests. I do the reading, you do the implementation, you do the tests.
I'll do the tests. Okay, that's cool.
Oh, dear. Thinking about what I've read this year, because I have read a lot and I've read a lot of different stuff, so that there's been a couple of trends to what I've read this year. So at the start of the year, when I was looking for a nice bit of plain sailing and just optimizing the machine, I went really old school. I was reading a lot of Chet Holmes, J. Abraham, Keith Cunningham, Jim Rohn, and just getting this old school knowledge into my head. My favourite was I was reading this J. Abraham book, and I ordered it on Amazon, printed copy, and it was like one of these, they don't sell it on, it wasn't on Prime, so I had to get a used copy. Okay, got this used copy, reading through it, this is really good, this is great nugget. And then I got to the chapter on the internet, and it was like, how to market your business on the internet. And we know a little bit about marketing online, we've been doing it for 20 years now. So I was kind of reading that thinking, that's a bit of crap advice there, I'm not sure I agree with that. God, that's a bit old dated, we didn't do that anymore. And then he listed the 12 search engines that you should optimize your website for. Ask Jeeves, Lycos, Alta Vista, Insight, Yahoo. Yeah. And I'm there going, where's Google? Why isn't Google on this list? And then it suddenly dawned on me that, oh my God, this book was written before Google was even a thing. And I flipped back, and sure enough, it was published in like the year 2000. So I was reading a 20-year-old book, but it wasn't that dated. Most of it, apart from the chapter on the internet, which if you think back to the year 2000, the internet was this new thing. And it was like, okay, you need to understand how to market for the internet. The rest of the stuff was just evergreen. It was always going to be useful there. Over lockdown, building assets, that was our big thing. So I started reading a lot of usability, conversion rate optimization, and psychology books. We were relaunching a couple of our websites. Wanted to make sure we were basically making them perform better. We obviously made a pivotal decision that we were going to kind of change one of the business structures. So spent a month reading lots of books about scaling, exiting, systemizing, deliberately staying small. So I was actually reading books on a scale from, you want to be this tiny little business that just does it for the passion, and you want to exit your business for £100 million, and everywhere on the scale in between, to figure out, what do I actually want? And it wasn't, oh, that's the answer. Sorry, I'm pointing here. That's great for the podcast listeners here. This one here that I'm pointing at, but it's not. There was no one book that I said, yep, that's what I want. But it was more a little from column A, a little from column B. It was like, actually, I don't need that. I don't want the stress of that. Oh, I absolutely. And a lot of it was what I don't want. Anyway, how to choose one book for our listeners, because obviously I have read 50, and as I've just explained, I read the books based on what I wanted. When I'm launching a website, I'm reading books about how to make a better website. When I'm looking to optimize a machine, I'm reading about optimization of the entire ecosystem. When I'm looking at making a pivotal decision whether to exit, sell, scale, stay small, I'm reading books about that. So I'm going to choose a book.
That's the key thing, isn't it? Shall we just interrupt there? I think that's the key thing, is books are there to be read, and people will go, oh, what do you recommend reading, and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, there's great. So there's some really fantastic books out there, but if they're not relevant to you and where you are right now, they may be the best book going, but they're actually not what you need to be reading. What you need to be reading is what's relevant at the time. And so I think you've just made that point really well when you've read 50 books on the different subjects that you're actually using. But because at that point, it's not only that, is you've read the books, you've got the knowledge, you've then got the means to implement it, because you've got a time, you're in the right space, you're in the right time to do that. It's no good reading a book about, systems, for example, if actually your thing is at the moment getting customers, because without them, you don't have that kind of stuff. So actually you need to kind of think about, how to market an internet website without actually building, without actually having one. You need to get that bit done first. So I think that's a really good point, mate. Well done, mate.
Yeah,
that's very
exactly.
good.
I mean, I created the big webinar for one of our businesses, created that in October. So I spent from like late August until October reading a book. Now, I bought that book 3 or 4 months earlier, and I could have read it then. Mm-hmm. But what's the point in me reading that book when I wasn't ready to follow the instructions, to refer back to my quote from Routine Machine? I read the book, I need to follow the instructions. And it is that, what I call the shoe dog fallacy. Because it's exactly what you just said, and you see it all over social media. Oh, can anyone recommend a book? Yeah, Shoe Dog, it's brilliant. Oh, you'll love Shoe Dog. Why? Why will I love Shoe Dog? And how will Shoe Dog help me now in my business? Yes, it's inspirational. Yes, it's a great read. And if you get the audiobook, it's fantastically narrated. But it isn't going to help you today in your business, unless you are in the situation that Phil Knight was at any point in his journey, in which case it'll probably really help you. Anyway.
All right, John. So, have you got a book of the year from your 50 that you've read?
I have. So my criteria that I'm using is the book that I've referenced the most this year, that when I've had conversations with business owners, I've gone, oh, have you read this book? Or let me tell you a little tale about this book. So it's a bit of a catch-all. Mm-hmm. And we've mentioned the author of this book a couple of times already this year. So it's definitely been always at the back of my mind. The book is called Hell Yeah or No, and it's by Derek Sivers. So this book is not currently available on Amazon, Audible, etc. You have to buy it directly from Derek Sivers himself. So I think his website is sivers.org. And we've mentioned Derek Sivers on this podcast for a few years now. And I think he's, we've mentioned the hell yeah or no concept several times. Long-term listeners will remember my word of the year for this year, just gone, was subtract, which was a Derek Sivers idea. So he's he's a modern day stoic, really. He's a guy who kind of exited his company, $28 million back in 2008. He gave all the money away and now lives this kind of minimalistic life where he just writes and creates music and just, I was going to say travels the world, but he's lived all over the world. He just, at the moment, I think he lives in Oxford at the moment. He's moving to Portugal because he just fancies living there for a few years. He's lived in Singapore, he's lived in America, he's lived in London, and he just absolutely lives his life optimized for happy and nothing else. And that is obviously the hell yeah or no concept, is removing everything you do other than what you really, really, really want to do. And yeah, I think what I like about Hell Yeah or No is it's a collection of like really short chapters. So if you listen on the Audible, it's not on Audible, but there is an audio version which he narrates himself. Each chapter is like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So you can just dip in, dip out. What you will probably find yourself doing, which I certainly did, is listening to a chapter for 2 minutes, pausing it, and then thinking about that chapter for the next 20 minutes. Because that's what he wants you to do. And that's where the real power is not. Derek Sivers does not prescribe stuff to you. He does not say, this is the answer, this is the way. He just kind of says, what if you did this? What if this was the way? Why are you doing this? And those questions are just what make you sit back and think, why the hell am I doing this? Why don't I do that? And again, it was one of the books I picked up when I was doing these. Should we exit? Should we scale? Should we stay small? Should we optimize? Should we outsource? Should we do whatever? That was one of the books that really helped me make that decision, because he asked more questions, and it was more questions than answers. But yeah, that's my book of the year. Hell Yeah or No by Derek Sivers.
Very good. Like it. Very good indeed.
Good. Over to you, mate. What's your?
Well, I like when you talk about prescription, and it's not kind of a prescription. I quite like the prescription ideas between books. Some things that you can kind of like read and then go, oh, actually, I can apply that, and I can do that, and I need to do it, and things will be better, and businesses improve, and kind of things like that. So, both, I guess, the two books that I'd already mentioned that I've read this year that I can remember are enabled you to do that. It enabled you to ask the questions within your own business and apply them. So the how to keep customers,
Never lose a customer.
Yeah, that's the one. Never to lose a customer. Joey, somebody or other, was it?
Joey Coleman, yeah, well done.
Yeah, Joey Coleman, thanks very much. Yeah, there he is. By Joey Coleman, again, that kind of does that. That challenges the way you kind of think about your business and thinking about your customers, and actually the importance of keeping them. We already know that it's cheaper to keep a customer than it is to kind of find a new one and all of that kind of stuff. But actually the techniques that he puts in place and the way that he kind of takes you through that process, it's just nice and easy to be able to put it to. Put it into your business. It was a read that you had that you kind of told all of our team to kind of read, and everyone took something from it and applied it to the business area that they work in. And yeah, it's been really good. We want to kind of use the tools and stuff which we take out of that and place it alongside the system which came out of my second book. I'm good at this, aren't I? Systemology, and that's David Jennings.
Oh, well done.
Thank you. I'm here all day. Don't mind me. Yes, and this is kind of teaches you, or it kind of doesn't. It gives you kind of the instructions on how to create that business which actually can run itself. We obviously take the E-Myth and kind of coming out of your business and put the systems process and all that stuff in place is important in order to be able to extract yourself from the doing and spend more time on the business sort of thing. But this kind of gives you the tool to enable you to do it. Now, I've got to be honest with you, all he's trying to do is flog his software. I mean, that's interspersed throughout the book. But the software itself is actually quite a good tool, and it plugs in with other things as well. So you can do it with just your Google Drive. You can do it with using Asana and stuff like that. It's just that methodology really of putting the system in place that goes alongside the operational stuff for your business. And I like it, and that's good. And it's something that we're going to take on. I've read it a little while ago. We weren't quite ready to implement it then, so it'll be another read I'm going to do over Christmas, because the next quarter for us is about implementing our systems and processes and getting that bit right. So it'll be worth another read for me, so I can kind of get that bit underlined and get that squared away. And yeah, I think it's going to be kind of a game changer for us, because we always kind of assume we know what's going on in the business, because we kind of say these things should happen and this is the way we do things, and it doesn't always happen like that, in fairness, because everyone has their own ideas and it goes away. So this is a process of putting it all into black and white, so actually everyone can follow it. So in fact, anybody coming into the business could follow our process, or anybody who it's just a simple way of doing it, and it ensures, if you tie it together with something like Asana, that these things are done, because they sit like this together. So that was my two kind of books, really. So which one would be my book of the year? I think if you're in that right place now to kind of like looking at the design of your business going forward for 2021, then I would look at Systemology by David Jennings.
Good. Yeah, the first book I think I've read twice this year. So I listened to it on Audible first because I wanted to let it kind of wash over me. I don't think it's an Audible only read, because I think you want to take notes, scribble in the margins, adapt and innovate. But I do think letting it wash over you first and just getting the idea for, okay, this is how it's going to work, getting the big idea, the concept in place, and thinking, okay, right now let's get the nuts and bolts done with another read through. And for me, I did Audible, then Kindle, which means I can get the big idea from the Audible, and then on the Kindle, I can skip through quite quickly because I know the bits that aren't relevant and I don't need to look at again. I can skip through those. The bits that are relevant, I can quickly highlight in Kindle, export the highlights, print off the highlights. There we go. We've got our crib sheet of what we need to do. I think one of the things that probably the lowest hanging fruit from creating those systems is, as you said, where as a business owner we think things are being done, or we think they're being done in a certain way. That's because the system is up here. And again, for the audio listeners there, I'm just tapping the side of my head because it's your systems, your processes are mostly in your brain. And when I say to you, let's say I, as the business owner, create a task. The task is think of a dog. Okay, so you're all thinking of Chewy, my cockapoo, aren't you? Unless you're thinking of a German Shepherd or a Great Dane or a Labrador. It's completely open to interpretation. It's like, well, you only told me to think of a dog, and I did. Actually, used to do that on Shooting Stars, didn't they? One of the questions, like, think of a dog, Yorkshire Terrier. No, sorry, it was a Dachshund. So there we go. Systemology, David Jennings. It's the system for creating systems, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it just makes you think differently about what you're trying to achieve. It's not the when to do it. It's not your to-do list. It's not that sort of thing. It's the how these things are done. So you've got your to-do list in terms of Asana. You've got the what needs to kind of happen in Asana, but what you've got is how to do it is in a different system. Lots of people have, the Google Drive with all the handbooks and all that kind of stuff in it. That's a well-known way of doing it. Lots of businesses do that. Lots don't, but lots of people do. But this is a different way of doing it. A bit of software where actually things are stored and saved and video, and it's multimedia and all of that kind of stuff, which is good. But yeah, as I say, the book is lined up just to sell his software, which is fine, because the method is sound. So yeah,
good. Word of the year.
Word of the year.
Now, I don't think we did this last year. Well, we did, but we didn't do it on the podcast. So we had our so I'm going to make people very jealous now, but back when we could actually have a Christmas meal as a group, we had a 1% Club Christmas meal, didn't we, last year?
We did.
And I can't remember how this got started, but one of the conversations, one of the topics we had around the table was, what's your word of the year for 2020? What's it going to be? If you could say, I'm going to live 2020 by one word, what's it going to be? And this was back in a time when if you'd said that word was COVID, people would have gone, what the hell is that? I've never heard of such
isolation, loneliness.
Hand-washing, that's one word, isn't it, technically?
Yeah, space. That's what I need, space.
Yeah, clusterfuck, I think.
You certainly lived your life by that, mate.
But we did. I think this came from a Derek Sivers thing because I'd read earlier in the year 2019. I'd read one of his blog posts, which is actually a chapter in the book Hell Yeah or No, called Subtract. And I said, that's my word for 2020. I'm going to subtract stuff. I've taken on too much. I've said yes to too many things. some things need to come away. You know, there's no way I'm going to get to a nice, centered, balanced life by adding more stuff in to my life. The only way I'm going to get there is by taking stuff away. So it's like, right, my word of the year is subtract. And that's kind of what I left by. I subtracted all my friends. I subtracted all my customers. I subtracted.
Yeah, that worked out well.
Yeah. But I mean, the only other one I can think of around the room was Michelle, one of our WOM centres, and she said, joy. I'm going to live 2020 by the word joy. It's going to be the year of joy. Now, you
That's
may
a hashtag on Facebook, so if you want to find out how she lived her life, you can hashtag year of joy, and up will come with some of the posts. But absolutely, she did that because last year wasn't such a great year for her in terms of lots of things that kind of happened. So this year was her moment to kind of get back out and about and doing the stuff that she loved and enjoyed, sort of thing, really. So yeah, year of joy.
And the best of it is she did absolutely live by that, because again, she, 3 months in, you could have said, oh, well, the world has put my year of joy to the sword and said, no, you can't do that. And she just went, no, screw you. I can still do that. I can still find the joy. And I think that's where she really took it. Was some days she had to look bloody hard to find the joy, but find it she did.
She did.
And that was, all about living her word. So did you have a word for 2020?
Did I have three? I assume
probably. Knowing you.
Always have three, don't I? Sort of.
I asked you for a book of the year and you give me two, so the only two you read.
Well, it was a good short list.
It's a very short list.
Yeah. What did I have a word of the year? Or did I go for something? I don't know. I probably went for the three, my kind of fun, sociable, and meeting new people. I think that was probably that was probably my three things, because that is what I've been.
Those were your three words, were they?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I don't do the accounts. But yes, it's I think that was probably what I did, because I try to live my life by those three things, because it's I think that's the important thing, really. You got to have some fun, haven't you? You got to be sociable, and that meeting new people is always exciting. And so I didn't really. Well, fun was all right. Managed fun. Fun was good.
Yep.
Sociable, managed to do that. A whole load of people that I never managed to get onto Zoom and doing this working from home stuff of now doing it, which is amazing, because obviously we've been beating that drum for many a year. I certainly have, whether that's with within family or friends or charity stuff or whatever else. I've been beating that drum for a long while, and people are having to do it, which is fab. No longer do we have to drive miles to go and see people anymore, or spend a fortune with coffee chains and stuff like that. It's now it's quite nice. Drink a cup of coffee and have a good old chat on here. You can chat for longer and have more fun. So that's quite good. And I like the idea. I mean, going back probably for the first question, really, I like the idea that actually this has become the normalized for people to do now. So kind of working from home and not having to do all those things. I think from our point of view, it's like, oh, we work from home. It's like, oh yeah, that's not a real business. You can, you're not very good and all the rest of it. It doesn't matter what the turnover, what what the business looks like. It's kind of like, oh yeah, it's not a real business because you work from home, is it? But now everybody's kind of had to do it for such a long period of time in 2020. Yeah. It's now become, it's like, well, that's fine. You can run a business from home. That's no worries at all. You can have a call center and everyone works from home. You can have the government departments are all working from home. Barclays can send people out to service their customers from home. It's something that's now, I hate the word, the normalized, but it's been normalized, which means that it kind of adds something to us, I guess, really a little bit in terms of we're leaders, aren't we? That's we could do this quite quick, again, being agile. But was that answering any of the questions you just asked me?
Well, actually for one word, so no.
Oh dear, that's good. Well, I think I managed a few of those one words.
Well, I think we've been ahead of the curve, haven't we, really, with 2020. I mean, remote working, we were doing that since like 2006. Homeschooling, we started that in 2019. Avoiding social contact with the rest of the world, I've been doing that all my adult life. Every
opportunity.
I think for us routine machines, it's been absolute heaven lockdown. You can just, I know exactly what my routine's going to be. My day is going to be the same as it was yesterday. Yes.
There are no curveballs like, oh no, we've got to go and do this shop, or we've got to go here and we've got to do that. Or by the way, tomorrow we're going to go and see this person and that person. We ain't got any of that.
Forget we're doing this at the weekend. Oh dear God, yeah. So anyway, do you have a word of the year for 2021, mate?
Next year is going to be the year of what's yours?
Mine is another Derek Sivers concept. So it is enough. There's a story here. I think one of the questions he's been asked the most frequently since he exited his company for $28 million and has appeared on the Tim Ferriss show and done TED Talks and everything is, what's your net worth, Derek? And the answer I saw the answer he gives, I think, all the time now is, my net worth today is exactly the same as my net worth was in 1994 when my bills were $800 a month and my music was earning me $1,000 a month. Enough. If I have enough, why do I need to work really hard to have more than I need, more than enough? So, for me, I'm going to try and leave perfect behind. I think we've tried to be a little bit of perfectionism before, and I think I need to leave perfect behind and just do enough and just say, that'll do. Stop chasing these hugely ambitious targets just for the sake of it, and instead focus on, that's enough, that'll do. Even just to the point of, sometimes it will get to a Friday afternoon and I've done everything on my list and I'm finding stuff to do rather than just saying, you've done enough this week, John, go play golf. So
when you're allowed.
Yeah, that's it. And then when I get halfway around on the course going, well, I've had enough of this, that's enough. What's your
That's
score?
enough balls I've lost.
Yeah. What's your score? Enough. Oh dear. So, have you thought of one whilst I did that?
No, not at all.
Okay. Good. Any goals? Any goals for 2021? Let's think about. This is a time of goal setting, isn't it?
It is a time of goal setting. Well, different. No. I've learned that you shouldn't prepare for failure. You set up these big goals for 2020.
What are you going to do? What are you going to achieve in the next year? What is it you think? If I only achieve one thing, whether that's in the business, personally, financially, that you think, that's what I'm going to do next year, I'm going to do this one thing.
Be awesome.
So, no, as I said, not chasing these huge, ambitious, unrealistic targets.
Give me awesome. That's what I'm going to do. I'm absolutely that might be my word.
That could be your word of the year, couldn't it?
That could be my word of the year as well. I think absolutely, because it's no matter which area, you've got to kind of try to be awesome, really, haven't you? It's no good being mediocre. That's a bit crap, isn't it? And I think a bit of awesomeness. I think that's what we need. And I'm usually awesome. I don't feel this year I've been as awesome as I could have been, but I think that's all right. I think next year we can be definitely awesome.
If just thinking about the awesomeness scale here now. So obviously you've got a graph here. And I guess I never get it right. It's the X or the Y, the one going up. So the one going up.
We've already figured I'm not that great at maths, mate. Why have we
the
got
one going up? We'll call that
it?
the X-axis. That's the awesomeness. Okay. And the Y-axis, that's the number of times you've worn your sparkly green, pink, purple suits. Yeah. The more you wear the suits, the more the awesomeness. Is there a correlation between the two?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. And the more I have, that's it. Exactly that.
Oh dear.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is it, isn't it? It's being, but then that's me, isn't it? Really awesome. I think that's probably a really rubbish word to use because I'm not like that all the time.
There's going to be a lot of people listening to this podcast now going, awesome. You're going to be awesome, guys. Yeah. Awesome.
It's better than fabulous. You're a flabulous. That's what I'm going to do.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to some awesome systems in place next year.
I'm looking forward to that too.
So my one big hairy scary goal for 2021 is that I'm going to write book number 3. Not only write it, I'm going to release it. So write and release in the same year. So I haven't started writing a single word of this book yet. I've got some ideas jotted down. I have kind of done a little bit. So book number 3 will be coming out. And here's a bit of public accountability for me. Could learn to regret this, couldn't I?
February the 12th. It's going to make a great Valentine's present.
2027. No, book number 3, Evergreen Assets, is coming out November 2021. So it's, Evergreen Assets, which is going to be a content marketing strategy that works hard for you without being hard work. Now, that is a subtitle that's a bit of a work in progress. I'm working on that.
It's a bit long, isn't it?
It is a bit long, but then the subtitles normally are.
Opening paragraph, I'd have called it.
But ultimately, it's that content marketing strategy that is actually going to give you a lot of leverage. And once you've done the hard work to set up the ecosystem, it carries a lot of the weight for you, as opposed to what most people's content marketing strategy is, which is just keep posting on Facebook every day and keep doing Facebook Lives every day and keep doing stuff every day. And the minute you stop, your content marketing strategy also stops. So that's what Evergreen Assets is going to be about. So it's it's going to be a complete work in progress. So join me on this journey throughout 2021. I'll probably update in each of the podcast episodes what I've been up to, what I've written at that point. I'll probably actually be sending out some kind of sample chapters and bits as I'm going along to my email list. So if you're not on my email list already, head over to bigidea.co.uk and just pop your email address in there. You'll obviously get also the usual new Big Idea from me every Wednesday lunchtime. But I'll send out some sample chapters.
Well, everyone who's listened today's already heard the first one, haven't they? I mean, you called it the subtitle, but it was the first chapter.
Excuse me. I asked you for one word and I got a 3-minute diatribe.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's it. I mean, I might come up with a title for my book this year, actually. That may be something.
Awesome.
It could well be.
Awesome, dude.
Awesome dude. Yeah, I don't like dude. I never liked dude, to be honest with you. No.
Yeah. I mean, the important thing is, obviously, if we're going to write books, and I think if I can go by Routine Machine, that took 7 months of my life to write that book. I'm going to need to subtract, to use a word from 2020, and systematize that sports betting business so that I can exit. I can go into writing books and I can come back into it. And without having those systems in place, without having the subtraction in place, I wouldn't be able to write an awesome book.
You write mine as well? Oh, fab.
All the way around.
You're writing my book for me. That's even better.
No.
Oh dear. No, that sounds fab, doesn't it? It does. It's good. Very good. Like it.
Any other predictions for 2021 in general, business in general, ambitious lifestyle business owners, anything what they're going to be facing or doing?
Enjoy? Well, I think, again, we need to keep to this pattern that's followed through from 2020, this adaptability, the creativity. I think that's going to go rife. I think the world's still going to be very different than where we were prior to COVID. I think that's true to say. I think business will be done in a different fashion for a long period forward, with or without vaccines and all of the rest of it, and restrictions and government things and this, because I think people have got used to doing business in a different way, and I think that's one of those things that's going to have to happen. I think people are going to business owners need to be adaptive to that change if they haven't already. There's something that they need to kind of to do to get on board with and to work those things through. I think going back to your word from last year, I think anything that business owners can do to subtract from their days and stuff, whether that's putting systems in place, whether that's putting in tools and resources and that sort of stuff to be able to do that, I think that will help free up your time to become creative and to be able to overcome those challenges that are going to come ahead. But yes, and generally, I would think adaptability is the word for next year in terms of what we got to prediction. I think we're still going to need to be adaptable, and Exciting. I think it's exciting because it's all new stuff, and it is. I love it because I love innovation and that kind of stuff. I love all of that stuff, and it's good.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more ambitious lifestyle business owners in 2021. I think there may be many business owners who maybe have been running a more traditional, big SME that are looking for that more streamlined, scaled back, less stressful business model whereby, oh my God, I don't need 50 employees, and what happens if the work dries up and I've still got the offices sat there empty and, I can't go in, and oh my God, I need to earn, £50,000 a month just to open the doors. I think a lot of those will be saying, well, actually, let's look at, is home working not got the stigma it once had? Can we actually scale back? Again, going back to the kind of Derek Sivers thing, why am I running this business? Is it to be seen to have a big business, or would I rather actually have a kind of more profitable business that's less stressful and means I can be there with the kids? And again, that might be, I think a lot of people have realized this year what's really important. And for a lot of them it is, okay, yeah, it's, I haven't missed the 90-minute commute to and from the office every day. I've quite enjoyed having a leisure, an extra half an hour in bed, a leisurely breakfast with the kids. I've enjoyed doing the school runs every now and then. I've enjoyed being here. So I think, many employees will have been furloughed. Some may lose their jobs in 2021 as obviously the economic bite of this hits. Those people could well be looking to turn their little side hustle or what they've done for an employer into an ambitious lifestyle business. And I think so many people have seen now, and I think people are becoming awake to this, that if you've got some kind of knowledge, some kind of expertise, a social media account and a website, you're in business. you're up and running. If you've got knowledge and expertise and you can jump on a Zoom call with someone, someone will pay you for that time. You've got a business. If you can solve problems for other people and people will pay you money to solve those problems, you have a business. And that can be an ambitious lifestyle business. I don't know if you knew this, but by the end of next year, so by the end of 2021, we will be celebrating 5 years of doing this podcast.
Are we? Amazing.
Yeah. January 2016 we launched. January 2017. December 2016 we recorded it. We did a little cheat and we recorded them in December. But yeah, 5 years of this show. So we'll be probably 85 odd episodes by the end of next year. We will obviously, throughout 2021, we will be bringing you more conversations with more ambitious lifestyle business owners. If you've enjoyed this episode with me and him, then tune in for our summer special in 2021, which hopefully I will dial in from abroad because we'll actually have a holiday next year. I'll finally get to go away and have some time in the sunshine. It's the first year, I think, since
last year,
1999, I think was the last year we didn't go abroad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 21 years since I've not left the country.
Oh, seems like a lifetime ago, mate.
Yeah, my tax status could be questioned next year because I plan on not being in the country very much. So all the holidays I was going to have this year have gone into next year, and I want next year's as well.
Oh, as well.
Yeah. Subtracting. The one thing I didn't want to subtract this year was holidays. But
it did enable you to say yes to lots more stuff, so that's good.
Oh yeah, great. Oh dear.
So this 7 months of writing a book next year then is pretty much the 7 months that you're away on holiday.
Oh, great idea. Yeah, I'll just go away somewhere, sit by a pool and read. Do you know what? That would be my ideal lifestyle, would just be wake up, have a swim, have some coffee, have some pastries, do a bit of reading, do some writing, get back in the pool. Oh, yes, heaven.
could see you now on the front of one of those multi-level marketing type of brochures with the holiday and the home and the pool and all that sort of stuff. Yes, I'm living my dream.
Yeah, I've always thought I should do that, just lean against someone else's Ferrari and, just draw all my money out the bank and just put it on the bed. So there's a pile of cash there. And just perhaps when I release my book, say how I made it as an awesome entrepreneur.
Maybe when you do.
The front cover.
Is that my next book?
how to be more awesome.
You keep pinching my words, John.
Oh, dear. Fantastic. There we go. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this episode, everybody. Don't forget.
Enjoy 2020. I think it's been
Yeah, enjoy it. Make it your year of joy. Why don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. And we'll see you on the next episode, everyone. Goodbye.
Take care. Bye.
True. Oh, Merry Christmas, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Merry Christmas. It is Christmas, isn't it?
Yes.
I just remembered we've got the festive thing going on here. Yes. Merry Christmas. Have a great Christmas.
You've got that background.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Have a good one. See you later.
Ho, ho, ho.
So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.